Another video, and today, as you can see, we're on MotoGP 19 once again, and we're here for another sort of like mod video. And today we're doing a track mod, as you'll have seen by the title and thumbnail. We have tried to port Imola to MotoGP 19. Why Imola? I don't know, just the first one that I thought of. I've been testing it a bit, and it works a lot better than the Donington did. If you remember on MotoGP 18, I might link it in the description, or maybe actually I don't know how to do the card annotation thing, so I'm not going to bother doing that. Might link it in the description. If you remember, I did try and port Donington Park to MotoGP 18, and that didn't function at all. It was a model. Whereas this, the AI actually work, the splits work. You spawn in the right place. So yeah, it's pretty good. It takes a while to load because, well, it's not really meant to load. So I've just taken files from Ride 3. Basically, I converted the ones I've needed to.
We're joining you live from Donington Park. Everything is ready for the start of a new thrilling MotoGP Grand Prix here in England.
Yes, so
we're moving to the starting grid where the cameras are showing us the riders concentrating before the start
not showing us
of
anything.
the race.
Alright, they are now. So the cameras don't seem to work the intro, because that should have loaded then, but it just had the MotoGP load screen still on. So I've been basically just porting files from Ride 3 just to see what works. Hopefully, you know, it all works good. I can see the Ducati truck there, so I don't think it's worked fantastically. There's lots of trees everywhere, so we'll start the race. It is pretty wacky. The AI don't behave great, so I haven't seen a lot of this because that bang nice down. Look,
will go out and the Donington Grand Prix will begin.
At least the camera actually works here. That's nice. Didn't work on the intro. So actually, I added a lot since I last had a look at this. So I haven't seen any of the pit wall or anything like that, or any barriers. So lights on, away we go. I think that's the Quona on the floor in front of us. So we're playing Valentino Rossi. The AI are a bit all over the place, and as you can see, you just go into trees. You go completely blind into trees. You can see things popping in, actually, barriers, which isn't great, but I've only worked on this today, by the way, so that's why it looks awful. The track textures are the wrong texture and stuff like that. I know it looks dreadful. I'll try and sort it out. But obviously the draw distance isn't sort of fully worked out yet. Although this is by far the best I've seen so far, because you actually can see where the track's going. I could have used to follow up again, not really sure how. We're finding a little H spag right now, so get on the power and come up the hill. You can see some of the textures work okay, like this board here sort of works, but a lot of the barriers are really popping in just as we get to them, which obviously looks a bit wrong. The trees seem to work through this section, kind of. They're a little bit off. You can see there's ones on the track here, but they sort of work a little bit. So you've got the hill. You see Oliveira's had a crash, so we'll brake here because there's actually a chicane after here. You can see how fast the AI go. They all try and cut it, and there's a barrier on the inside that they're smack into. They used to just fall out of the world because there was actually nothing there last time I tried it. But this is actually looking kind of fully, I know texture-wise it looks dreadful and I need to sort a lot of stuff out, but the model actually works perfectly. So yeah, I just need to sort out the things for the trees, which there's a few more things to port from Ride 3. The trees are, I don't think there's trees here before, so getting our way. I've ported the variant with the chicane, so there's a chicane coming up here that the AI don't like to brake for. You can see it's Dobby, just doesn't do that there. I've turned in way too... I've just been killed by Jack Miller. Yeah, they just straight line the chicane. I'm not sure why exactly that is. I have a feeling I might have taken the wrong spline, maybe, from Ride 3, because I had to take the AI file. Well, it's just called a spline, which kind of it controls a lot of things about the track, such as the checkpoints, where the off track is, I think, as well. That might be the gameplay folder, and the AI line. So Rabat has absolutely rammed me. They're not very good at chicanes. They are using the wrong optimization. It's like sort of a file that optimizes them for some corners. They are using the wrong file. They're using the Donington one still, so that might explain some of the weird behaviour they're exhibiting. You can see around most of the track they're okay. It's just the chicane. So I'm actually in 18th right now, which is pretty poor. But yeah, this is a really, really interesting mod that I just decided to make today. It looks like... oh, okay, I was about to say, everything doesn't seem to be popping in as much now, but it still is. I think everything is just tarmac. I don't think anything's like gravel. or anything like that. I think it's literally... I'll have a look. I'll go on the grass and see. Yeah, so everything is just tarmac, so you can go full speed, same grip on everything. Like I said, that's just me trying to... I've just literally started porting it today, and this is how far we've got. So we basically got the full thing working. I just need to sort the textures, which that should actually come under the things with the track and the gravel as well. Need to sort that out. Quartararo did a 42, that's an amazing lap. I think maybe they figured out how to not crash it. Oh yeah, they're not crashing because they're in a straight line in the chicane. It's kind of unfair. So we've got one more lap. Oh, I think, I don't know which Marquez that was. It was one of the two. I've just done a fastest lap as well. It was Alex. There you go, got absolutely rammed by, I can't remember which AI's rammed him then, but yeah, he's got absolutely cleared out. So Morbidelli's now taking second, although he's just fell off, so I don't think he'll be in it for very long. Speaking of Morbidelli, obviously he was at the Sepang 8 Hours, wasn't he, yesterday? I've just gone into the side of EN08 and I've pushed him onto the gravel, but the gravel is just tarmac. Well, we didn't know what to do there, particularly. So yeah, the track's kind of like looking fully complete, it's just the textures are completely broken and the draw distance is a bit bugged. But other than that, it works. It works in time trial as well. I might do that in the video in a second once I've done this race. Go and have a look at time trial. I want to have a look at replay as well. Cameras do seem to be broken, which is a bit of an issue. But the mini map as well. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, the mini map doesn't work. Well, it works actually. There's no track map. You can see actually we're just crossing over a bit now. I did import the Imola. Oh, wow, that AI just did the. Wait, which AI was that? It was Zarco. Zarco just did the chicane properly. That's the only AI I've seen do that chicane properly at all ever. Okay. Perhaps he got slowed down by something beforehand. I don't particularly know. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks a bit like crap right now. There's definitely something to sort out. Quartararo has absolutely dominated this race. In fact, I'll show you the pit lane. The pit lane does, in fact, function, I think. Now I've just made myself look like an idiot and a liar. Yeah, the pit lane does not, in fact, function at all. See, I thought it did. Shame it doesn't. Wow, I just got respawned all the way back here as well. On the final lap. So we'll go through the pit lane at full speed, see if we can get to over the finish line for some of the AI. Oh yeah, I forgot it curves around. It's over the line. Can we actually cross the line? Yeah, we can. Oh, we've just absolutely died.
Before we go to see the party at the podium, let's take a look at the MotoGP class final results.
So I've actually never really finished a race on here, but this is what happens when you finish one. I came last because the AI don't get penalties and I do. So yeah, as you can see, this is really rough. There's still a lot to do. But I'm liking it. I'm liking it. This is definitely the closest we've come to porting any kind of track over. I mean, functionally, it's basically sound. It just... the AI needs sorting. But if you wanted to ride the track on your own, and you didn't mind the textures being broken as hell and there being trees randomly in your way, the trees aren't solid, they just kind of block your view a bit. It actually already works. We'll have a look at the replay. Do they have TV cameras? I don't think they're going to. Yeah, they don't. I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but what can you really expect? It's not supposed to even work at all. But can we watch the AI? Yeah, we can actually. So we'll watch Quartararo, see what he actually did. We'll watch the actually, I don't know if this music is copyrighted or not. That's a bit of a problem. I'd rather get monetized on this.
Before we go to see the party at the podium,
oh,
let's take a look at the MotoGP class.
Okay, so we managed to get that loading screen in the background again. So, yeah, well, I'll show you in time trial now then.
It's definitely not the result they were hoping for today.
Yeah, it's not the result we're hoping for. Have a look in the background, it looks weird. I think there might be some stuff from Donington still loading in terms of the trees. I think that might be the issue. So I'll have to take a look at that. But like I said, I literally started this today, so I don't think it'll take me very long to fix that. Because it seems like most of the files from Ride 3 actually work pretty well in the game. You have to rename some of them, which usually is an issue. It does prove an issue if you rename a file and it just flat out doesn't work anymore. But it actually works fine. It's really weird. Like usually with this engine, it's like you rename a file, it's just not going to work. But you can actually rename these. They're not actually U assets, they're like U maps. You can actually rename them, which is nice. But you do have to convert all the meshes, so that's why the texture's broken basically, because I had to convert the meshes, and I didn't bother fixing the textures in Unreal Engine. Although I'm sure I'll probably regret that at some point. So we'll go pit start. just so I don't look like a liar. We'll watch the cutscene as well, because why not? I want to see him going out, standing on nothing. Oh yeah, I forgot Rossi has his own, obviously, animations for it. But there you go, look, everyone's standing on nothing, it looks pretty odd. Gets on the bike. There you go. Okay, so... yeah, I'm not really sure... Oh, I see. See, I did this once before I'd imported all these textures, and I was like, oh, the pit lane does work, but it just thinks the pit lane's here for some reason. Maybe this is where the Donington one is, I'm not too sure. But yeah, obviously, like I said, there's a lot still to do on this. I will show you a time trial lap quickly as well of the track, just to show that you can actually post laps. Yeah, that'll be a slight problem. I'll have to have a look when I... okay, yep, so I've spawned over here. Yeah, I see, I've actually spawned in the pit lane now. Which is weird. So the pit lane didn't work in the race, but it works in time trial. These tracks don't work online, so this won't work online at all. Because I did a little bit of testing with just porting tracks from this game to this game, so basically replacing them. You can see actually there's barrier stuff on Donington, so I need to sort that out. I don't really know how they're still loading, so that's obviously a file I've missed somewhere. A lot of these files are still the Donington files. I think those trees must be from Donington. I don't think the Imola trees would be up there. So that might be why some of the trees are in the way. Slightly offset, so when I come out of the pit lane, is it going to give me control? No, it's going to make me do a... no, it's just going to make me stop. Right, so we'll just restart flying lap then. So this bit works fine, actually. So I will do a quick time trial lap. So that's the pit lane. Yeah, I'm not sure about the sort of the things just popping in and out. I don't know how to fix that because I don't know what file controls it or anything like that. It's kind of hard to see where you have to go to that chicane because there's a lot of things loaded that shouldn't be. It seems to think there's grass here as well. That's why the ground is slightly green in places. I think that's what it is. Wow, I've absolutely overshot the first corner. That's nice. So yeah, so actually that's probably a good demonstration. When you go off this track, it still invalidates your time, which means it actually is working pretty nicely. And looking at the files, I mean, if you know anything about Unreal Engine, which I don't really, I know what I've learned from modding this game, but I don't really know a massive amount about it. But I think if you probably knew what you're doing with Unreal Engine, I don't see why you couldn't get a custom track to work on this game. Which obviously is something we've never been able to do before in any MotoGP game. I'm going to say that porting tracks, I've said that it theoretically is possible in the past, if you know what you're doing. I'm going to say it's definitely possible now because I've done it. Sort of. You know, it isn't really proper, it's not perfect. And even when I've polished it, I don't think it'll be perfect. There'll be still some limitations, and there'll be some elements of files that I can't replicate in the game. But it's a lot better. It's a lot better than nothing. The track actually functions, which is always nice. About adding it as an extra track, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. I've done a little bit of an experiment with that, and it just crashes the game. Even with using files from the game already, because I was like, right, if I want to, you got to change as little as possible. So I just made a track. I think I made a track called Imola. Basically, just use all the Magello files, renamed to Imola. It didn't like that, it crashed. Now whether I was missing something, I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But so far, it looks like you'll have to... you have to replace a track, which obviously is a bit of a shame. It's more of a shame with the fact that obviously you don't want people to be overwriting tracks, and then... oh, I was just looking out my window a little bit. I actually looked away from the screen for a second, and then the braking zone was awesome there. But you don't want people, obviously, putting tracks over other tracks, doing insane time trial lap times on time trial, because actually, like I'm showing you right here, it works in time trial. Whether your lap gets uploaded or not, I don't know, because I didn't try that, because I don't want to ruin the leaderboards, obviously. Also, I did try it online, like I said. Not this, but a different track thing I was messing with, where actually I basically replaced Aragon with Assen, the model works fine, but the splines don't work online. So I'm guessing what Milestone do, they have the spline stored on the server, maybe more for lag reasons, but it just also prevents the mods, which, to be honest, yeah, it's a little bit of a shame for us that you can't use whatever track you want online, but I think that's a good thing overall, that you can't do that. Whilst the model works fine and stuff, and if you can get onto the track, then that's fine, you can ride around it to your heart's content, but your laps don't count, because it's looking for the checkpoints at the track you've replaced, not the one that you're actually at. But yeah, I think that's basically everything. I hope you have enjoyed this. I know it's just been a bit rambly and me sort of just showing things off, but we'll have a look here at the photo mode, so you can see it doesn't look great. Obviously the textures are a bit broken. There are, well, there's pretty obviously still elements of Donington being loaded here, but you know, it's a start, and no one else has got really anywhere near this, so I'm quite happy with it. I don't know about how quickly I'll be able to maybe turn this around and get it as a finished mod. Once I've finished it, I'll release it definitely, especially as it is now, with it replacing Donington. You could never beat the time trial time, so I have no issue with you know, using Donington as a replacement. I might even do Mugello, because obviously they're both Italian circuits. But yeah, I think that's basically it for this video. I might do some more updates on this in the future. I know I said that about the Donington one and then never came back to it, but I realised that there was nothing was really going to happen with that. Whereas with this, yeah, I could see if I start fixing the textures, it's going to start looking really nice. So yeah, like I said, hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you in the next one.